Hey, do you have an update on Hardy Green?
He's day to day. We'll see how he practices today, see how he feels. Still wasn't feeling great yesterday, so it's going to be day to day thing for him.
I see. Hey, and then perhaps the one thing that kind of went unnoticed, or at least by us, like immediately after the game when like we talked to you, was 15 assists by your squad there, a season high, right? And so if you could sort of talk about the things that you saw, was there something different sort of going on with your offense?
Well, I'll tell you this, another stat that got passed over is only 6 turnovers.
Yeah, right.
Like
yeah.
That's, you're talking about, where we've been getting assists, we haven't been limiting our turnovers. So I just thought our guys did a really good job hitting singles, making simple plays, really sharing it with each other. I thought that was really big. Something that we've been stressing every day in practice.
And if I could just ask one last one, just going against Stanford, obviously the difference here is just the rebounding here. Last time you guys played them, 47-31 on that, on the boards there. What can you do there to like shore that up?
Well, I think that's when we hadn't made the adjustment to our the different way that we're playing, so that will. It's proved a couple games it hasn't. And, it just goes back to it'll put us in better position. Now we have to be gritty, we have to be tough, and we have to finish with rebounding. We'll get them to miss. Now it goes.
Okay, thanks, Percy. Lauren, go ahead, Lauren.
Hey, Hop. Another game against Washington State where you had kind of bigs in foul trouble. What are you seeing there, and what can be done to kind of prevent that from keeping happening?
Getting better in post defense, and a lot of post defense is getting your work done early. When you give good post players a deep position, it's a hard thing, and you just like what teams did against Isaiah, they just used their body whatever they could to keep him out of the paint, and then when they got it, sometimes they've trapped. We haven't done that yet. And then you got to be disciplined. It's funny because sometimes when you're on the side, you think your hands are up over your whatever, and you're like this, and that's where they call the foul. And so it's almost like you have to teach where your hands got to go behind your ears, just so you can make sure that you're in a verticality situation. And when they're coming at you, physical guys over and over, it's very hard. But a lot of our work can be done early, and we've got to do a better job at it.
And then Nate Roberts, just what progress have you seen from him this season, and what would you like to see more of from him?
Well, I thought he came out at the beginning of the year, he hadn't played, and so he got a lot of opportunity, and he had some really good games, rebounding the ball, finishing, and it's a long season, so you kind of go through your ebbs and flows, but he has been just a steady rock for us. In terms of knowing what you're going to get, in terms of his leadership in the locker room, a guy, he made 3 out of 4 foul shots late in the game. He's been working on that, and that takes a lot of mental toughness, and he's just going to keep getting better and better. And so we love Nate. We need him to stay on the court. I kept telling him, on one of them, like he didn't know if he was going to come trap or not. He kind of got in purgatory, and I said, you got to either choose, buddy. You either got to go or you're not. And so that indecision can get you in foul trouble a little bit. So hopefully he'll be better. He's been working his tail off. Great rebounder, and hopefully he plays great this weekend.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, Mons.
Yep. Hey, Hop. A question on the 19 rebounds against Washington State. 19 turnovers that you caused. How many of those, have you looked at them, that was attributed to just good defense and kind of Wazoo making their own mistakes?
Well, I think it's a combination of both. I mean, no player is perfect. A lot of times it's us. I call them, self-inflicted negatives. Sometimes our turnovers aren't forced; they're unforced errors. So it was a combination of both. But our defense has been active. We're getting better at it. Still not great. We still have breakdowns, but it's giving other teams a better look. Our guys are getting more confident in it, and we're getting more reps in it in the games. So hopefully we can be consistent. But with that being said, we've got to be able to rebound the basketball when they miss. And that will be a huge part of, our success in our remaining games.
And just one last one. You talked about the bigs getting down in the paint on defense. Is that a matter of them getting back on the defensive end much quicker from off that making a transition offense to defense? Is that something you're working on, or that's just recognition?
Yeah, we work on transition defense every practice. I think the biggest thing is going to be more, usually when you're in a zone, you're defending differently. And now when you're in a match or however we're going to do it, you have to be proactive and kind of see it before, it happens. And that allows you to position yourself better. And you watch Hamir, who's got a great feel. He creates some turnovers going back and forth. And Nate is physical power. And the one great thing about Nate is Nate's got really great quickness. And now it just goes back to the reps on going over and making it difficult for an opposing offensive player to get deep position. He can get you out with his physicality, and then he's got good lateral quickness side to side where he can use his length. He's been getting fouls on fighting with people. And so you got to teach him how to fight the right way, where you're leveraging your strength and also using your foot speed and quickness. So we work on it every day. We just got to get better at it.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Hey, Hop, asked you about the match on Monday night, and I know you guys didn't really feature it until the following road trip, but is there something about the match that you feel like can benefit you against Stanford and Cal that obviously you didn't feature the last time you played them?
I think both of them can help us. I think, our zone, even watching the Stanford game, we just couldn't score. We got wide open shots early. We were down 17-5. I think we were down 12-0 to start the game. And then they only had 17 points with 7 minutes to go in the first half. What they did is they killed us on the glass. And so, our zone is, it's not great, but we're good at it for the most part. We just weren't finishing with rebounding. And so some of our adjustments that we've made, hopefully, having both in our back pocket, can help us, get a few extra possessions, which those few extra possessions might help you win the game.
And also a follow-up on Percy's question about the turnovers and such. When you saw the game tape, are you seeing a different dynamic with the lineup when Nate and Eric and Marcus are handling the ball and it's their task to move it around as opposed to what you would normally see with Quad A?
Well, sometimes Quad A tries to do too much, and that becomes, contagious in a little bit. But, they didn't play without Bontown. We didn't play without Quad A. So it's a little bit, it's a little bit misleading in the sense. But the great thing about Marcus is Marcus has he plays with a great efficiency. Doesn't turn it over much. Doesn't get a lot of assists, but has the ability to shoots a high percentage. Eric, he's had his turnover moments, but he had a really good floor game. And it's just something that we've been promoting. We got to move the ball. The ball needs to move from side to side. Everybody needs to touch it. And if that happens with a little bit of poise and execution, we'll get better shots. We'll have less turnovers. And that's what you saw against Washington State.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
You're welcome.
Hey, Mike, typically this would be the senior farewell weekend. With the pandemic allowances, have you had any indication from Quad A or Hamir Wright whether they would entertain another year or is this it for them?
You know what? We haven't even talked about it. We've just kind of, in the season we're playing, trying to get through a season. And I'm going to knock on wood 1,000 times COVID free. We've been one of the few programs that have been able to get through it. And so I'm really proud of our guys, but nothing that we've ever talked about at all.
But they both each have that option, right? If that.
Yeah, with the NCAA rules, yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, Hop, thanks for the time.
Yeah, Andy, how are you?
So against Wazoo, you guys had some big free throws down the stretch, especially coming from unexpected sources. Nate Roberts obviously hits a couple big ones. How did you see your team's free throw shooting, and then that poise from Nate Roberts? Is that something that you have come to expect regularly?
Andy, he's been working on it religiously when we were at the first of the pandemic, when we were allowed, 2 different groups. We weren't allowed to be together, but it was something that he took a lot of pride in and worked really hard at. And, there's one thing about improving it and then, being able to go out there and hit it with pressure. And he's improved a lot. And to be able to go out there, he's getting more mentally tough to be able to do that. I don't think he could have done that last year at all. And it gives you a huge advantage when you have a 5-man, because he's going to get a lot of rebounds in the games. That's who somebody's going to foul. And when you have somebody that you can rely on, like we rely on Nate, he'll step up and knock him down.
Awesome. And then one other quick question. I know Wazoo has given you guys some problems before, and I believe this was your first win against Cal Smith. Does it feel good to kind of get that out of the way now?
I just was happy to get a win. If it was against Santa Claus, I just want to get a win. It doesn't matter who or what, you're trying to become a better team. And obviously Kyle's done a great job at Washington State since he's been there. And there's so many good coaches in our league and the country. And you're just trying to get your team to play the best. That's what you focused on. And we were able to take another step forward without one of our top players, which guys stepped up. They played together. We had our best assist and turnover game of the year, which was huge, but still can be better. I thought there was a lot of breakdowns defensively, and our numbers are starting to show better, but there's still a lot of growth. And that's what's exciting, is what our potential is, not where we're at right now.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, Andy.
Kim Reynolds, go ahead, Kim.
Hey, Coach. With Eric coming in, everybody thinks he's a shooter, but one of the things he's really done is expand his game by taking it hard to the hole, stopping for that pull-up jumper. Is that something that you encouraged him to do, or is that something that he's just done on his own?
It's something that he's really good at. He's a good 3-point shooter. He's a good mid-range shooter, and he's a good foul shooter. And he's a really good. The coaches would always say, they're like, Coach, Eric's one of our best passers, and he showed it the other night. Very unselfish.